Hey everybody, Dr. Ben Atkins here. I hope you are doing well. If you can see me and my guest, and you can see the slides, I don't know what you all can see. It's always fun to sort of do this fun stuff and to dig into the new stuff. So can you actually see into the layer, the dark layer? Oh, that's awesome! I love it. It's so good to see you guys. So I told a few of you a little while back, we're going to be doing more of this where we're actually jumping in and we're showing our faces because we have not gotten to see each other's faces in a long time. And so, my guest today, we'll talk more about you in a minute because I have lots of really nice things to say. But first things first, when we do this behind the scenes stuff, we're always looking at each other. Like we miss each other, we get to do this stuff, but like sometimes when we're doing these webinars, it's just slides and it's fun. And so it's good to get to see faces and listen, everybody that's watching this today, or maybe you're watching a replay later, I'm excited to get to see you in real life soon. Like this is, fingers crossed, we're on that path. If numbers continue to do what they're doing, I don't see any other option than us to continue to open up. And so that's absolutely lovely. Now, all that said, let's talk about sort of our role in this. For those of you that know me and know my guest today, you know that we're really focused on small business and helping small businesses grow, especially to help small businesses grow through using the internet. I've been doing this for 10 years. My guest has been doing this for a very long time as well. And, we get together, normally we get together in person at least once a year. And we actually get to hang out and we'll typically rent out a house and hang out and we talk about how we can help small businesses grow. And this is a big, big thing for us. And this is what we focus on all the time. The last year, we've really been focused on it because everybody's been in sort of this topsy-turvy place to where can we open, what's safe, can we deliver, can we, what can we possibly do right now? And so everything's sort of been in this weird spot. And so as we're starting to see things go the other way, we're a year into this, right? We're a year into this, a little longer actually worldwide, but we're getting into that spot where we've been doing this lockdown for over a year. It's been uncertain for over a year. Business is hard enough, but we're starting to see some good signs with what's happening in terms of pandemic, with how the world's reacting, how we're beating this thing. And so we're going to start seeing things open up. The problem is this: just because things open up and regulations are lightened up, it does not mean that people are just going to come flooding back into businesses. You're going to see some of that, but you're going to see what I said this a year ago, Liana. I said we're going to see the greatest reset of customers for businesses that we've ever seen in all of history of business because people had so much time away from their norm. And so if you're a business, you have the opportunity to capture a lot of what your competitors had. If you're a business right now and you want to bring your people back, you've got to be on top of things. And so what we're trying to do with this series, this is the beginning. I would not have had anybody else to be my first guest on this series and hopefully return guest. But what we're going to be focusing on is how do we restart? How do we get that engine and fire it back up, make sure that it's ready to run so it's not like the car that's been sitting out in the driveway for 4 weeks and then like all of a sudden it doesn't start up correctly and we have to do a bunch of stuff. We're trying to make sure that everything is ready so that when the time is right, small businesses and the folks like you, a lot of you here that help small businesses, you're ready to get out there and do it. So that's what this is all about. This is going to be a series. We're going to be doing this for the rest of the year because this is not going to be an easy thing. This is going to be something we're going to have to do. It's going to be a lot easier for some because they jump on some things that we're going to be talking about. That's what this is all about. How do you get prepared? How do you help small businesses if you're like an agency? How, if you're a small business, do you get to where you need to go? And so this is the most talking I'm going to do, though, other than say really nice things about my guests. Liana, how are you? Number one. You doing
I
good?
am fantastic and excited to be here.
Good. I'm happy to have you. Some folks that maybe don't know you yet, I think a lot of people, of course, do know you as they should. But the folks that don't know you, my experience with you is you've always been an amazing marketer, always been an amazing digital marketer. But one of the things that really gets me is the way that you look at the net and the way you look at opportunities and the way that you look at driving traffic. And I think those things have always stood out to me because while we both do things at a very high level, we think very differently. And that's the thing. There's never been a moment when I've not talked to you for 5 minutes where I've just been like, why didn't I think of that? I try to keep my head in that high level space, but the high level space that I try to stay in is completely different than the way you look at it. And so I'm always learning from you. And so today you've got something planned for us, and we're going to go through some ways that you're driving traffic to some small business things. What I really want to warn people ahead of time on this, just because we're focused on a certain niche with this particular thing that we're doing, don't think that it's only for that niche of people. That's only for that business niche. What you're going to watch today and and I don't even know everything we're going through. I'm getting ready to take notes. But what you're going to go through today is you're going to see a very specific niche, but all of the things that you see can be applied for a lot of different things in different spaces. And of course, as we go through this series, we'll go through a lot of different things, but just keep in mind that even if this is not your particular place that you live, this is something that you can pull a lot of good things from. So all that said, I'm going to kind of get out of the way. I'm going to pass this over to you so that I don't know. I really want to keep our beautiful faces on the screen like this. I mean, I feel like we look decent here in this slide.
We cleaned up today.
Yeah, we did. But I'm gonna pass this over to you so that you've got the screen and you can bring up kind of what you've got to present. And what I'm also going to do is, so I'm not distracting, because I tend to be distracting with my facial expressions, I'm going to turn my camera off for while you're doing this and just watch and take it away. I know you got a lot of good stuff, and like I said, if you need me, you yell at me. I'm right here, and I'm excited to jump in when you need me. But I'm pumped. Let's jump off. Let's talk about restarting small businesses and dig in.
Absolutely. Okay, great. What I'm going to do is, let me just make sure everybody can see my screen. I think Tabitha, just let me know if there's any problems with sharing, because I am going to be jumping around all over the place to show things. So can everybody see my screen? I might even let me turn off my webcam. Just make sure. Okay, great.
Perfect.
So what we're going to be focusing on, like Ben said, is don't let this turn you off if you look at this and think, no, I don't do chiropractors. After we go through everything, we can even take questions if you want to ask, hey, how can I apply this to my vertical? But we're going to use this as an example. And what my goal here is today, and I'm not holding anything back. We're like literally opening the kimono. I'm going to show you step by step how each one of you can actually go from like start to finish to launch this, so you can actually start generating leads and business leads and sales for a local chiropractor, another local business for you. And I'm just going to go through everything step by step. And if you have access to the replay, there'll probably be links there's going to be like a ton of links, okay, to give you as well. So let me dive right in. We're going to be taking a look at the landing page, which is super, like, you won't believe how easy this is to set up. You don't have to know any code whatsoever. I'm going to go through the foundational stuff, and I'll have a checklist that you can go through. We'll quickly review the different types of ads, and the one that you should be focusing on, I just only want you to be focusing on one. We want to keep it really, really simple. We'll look at very, very simple targeting. And this is what I'm excited about. I'm going to show you the way that I create powerful creatives and copy. Every single one of you can do it. You do not have to be running like a multi-million-dollar agency to do this and get really good results. And I'll touch a little bit on testing as well. But the main thing is how to get you up and running and started, so that you can start servicing clients and getting things going. So if you are ready to go, put a 1 in the chat box. Put a 1 in the questions. So let me know if you are ready to go. Okay, great. I'm seeing some come in. So here we go. All right. So let me just go out here. I'm going to go out of the PowerPoint here and go to the actual the software that we're going to be using here. Now, how many of you, let us know in the comments, have you used Customer Engine before? If you've heard about it, this is not going to be, a big thing about Customer Engine, but this is what we're using here to create this landing page over here. So I'll just show you really quickly. You just set up the campaign. There's like literally no design. I can even show you really fast here. You just go over here and you just fill in the information. We have a chiropractic clinic here set up for example purposes. You can see just putting in the text here. Again, zero coding needed. put it in here. So you need to have your landing page up and running. The thing I would say is, and this is something, by the way, I'm going to give you some tips if you're an agency of stuff that you can also add on as a service. I don't know if you know about this right now, but there are changes happening in Facebook that have to deal with iOS 14 on iPhones and iPads and things like that of getting updated. Let me know in the questions, have you heard about this? Or not. Let me know if you've heard about the iOS updates. Basically, what's happening is Apple, when people update their phones to the latest iOS 14, most of the apps on there will ask people, do you want to be tracked or not? Which is a problem. And we think most people are going to say no. So because of that, there are, and I'm not going to go into a lot of it here today, but there are going to be some challenges for us as marketers. And also in response to that, Facebook has specifically updated some things. One of the things they have done is that when you're running ads, you have to verify a domain. And again, I won't go into it in detail here. Because there's so many layers to this. But what you do need to know is you do need to have a custom domain set up for your landing pages. And it has to be verified inside of Facebook. You have to do this in order to optimize your campaigns. So in the customer engine, there is the availability to do this. At the agency package level, this one isn't set up here, but just make sure that you have that done. If you want, I can quickly show you where to do this inside of the back end of Facebook, but I'm just trying to give you the little, I think, like quick tips that you need to know to get started quickly. Okay, so make sure that you have it. And also, sorry, by the way, you can only have one domain per ad account. So you have to think very, very carefully what this domain is going to be. It can be subdomain. So if you have abc.com, your landing page can be like landingpage.abc.com. Okay. But you do have to have something. So I'll show you really quickly where it is. So let me just pull it up on my screen. I just have to make sure I'm not sharing a ton of personal information. But what you want to do in the back end, let me pull that down here, is you have to go to business. So you do have to have a business account, and I'm not sure if I can show you, but you do have to have a business account, and you go into business settings, and then what you do is you go under brand source safety, and you want to choose domain. So I'm just trying to pull up one here. Like I said, I have to just I can't blur while we're live here, but just give me a second here. Okay, so I'll just show you one here. I'm in the back end, I'm in business settings, and what you want to do is scroll down the left-hand side until you see brand safety, and it says domains here. And here's where you're actually going to add a domain. So I don't have anything added here. You're going to click add, type in the domain here, click add domain. And I just want to make sure you can see my screen. I think you can. Once you click to add the domain, I think I have it here, maybe not, but once you click add the domain, it's actually going to give you a text record that you're going to have to add to your hosting. So wherever, like GoDaddy or Namecheap or whatever is managing your DNS records, it will give you something very specific to add there so that it can be verified. Okay, that's the first step you need to do. And again, you can add this as a service to clients in terms of part of the setup. The next thing you need to do is then you're going to have to map over the custom event. So I'm going to show you how to do that as we set that up. So first thing is make sure you have a custom domain. This one isn't set up here, but make sure you have your custom domain set up on your page here. And this funnel, it's as simple as this, no kidding. It's just the headline, you've got the form here and the button. That's it. So I'm going to show you how to do the coding stuff, and then I'll walk you through how to set up the ad for this super, super simple funnel. But just to show you how this works, I'm just going to put in my name here. I'll just put in a phone number here. And what happens is you click send me the discount, and then what's going to happen is a code's going to be sent over to my phone. There's going to be some really cool follow-up that's all already built in to Customer Engine in the back end here. So that what can happen is the chiropractic office can get the information, they can call people, they can get everybody set up with appointments, get people to come in, get the free massage, and Ben can actually lead you through exactly what has to happen after that at the chiropractic office. But the main thing is we're getting their email, we're getting their name, we're getting their SMS, their cell number, so we can text them, so we can keep sending them more text messages and things like that, and so you can get them in the door, and then the chiropractic office should be able to upsell them into services. Is that like, and it's very simple. Does that kind of cover how it kind of works for the
Yeah,
offices then?
and before you get into like the keys here, the big thing that happens that we program in the background with this that I think everybody needs to understand is when they put their information into that box, yeah, like there's an automated text reply, right? Like that's cool, and it sends the deal to their phone so that they can call, and then there's obviously an automated follow up over the next couple days that urges them to take advantage of that. And what we do, Liana, is we make sure that we've got a countdown so that they can only use it for a certain amount of time. Now that's cool, that gets the job done. But the most important thing that we do for businesses like this is every time somebody puts their information into one of these, there's an alert that goes to the cell phone of the receptionist at the office. And so, and I won't belabor this point because like we can talk about it at another time. We've got so much stuff that you're going to cover that I want to make sure we get to. But the big thing is when that text message arrives as an alert, the alert that we send to the receptionist has the name of the person and the phone number. And there's a certain part of the day where they spend about 5 minutes calling everybody and says, "Hey, you know what? I saw that you signed up for the 25% off massage, and I want to make sure that we get you booked because it fills up fast." That one phone call that they get, because like I said, the receptionist gets a text message every time someone opts in. That one phone call is what brings in a ton of people into the actual office. And for those of you that don't know or don't run an appointment-based kind of business like this, if you can just get somebody in for a simple massage, the odds that they're going to take advantage of your other services go up dramatically, especially if you're doing the right things in the business. So that text message that lands not only to the person that opted in, but lands to the receptionist at the office so that they're alerted to call. That's a huge part of why this funnel is so effective. All right, now let's get back to like how to actually get traffic and fun stuff there. I'll shut up.
Yeah, okay. No, that's great. And I'm sure you've already gotten a lot of people. I'm already thinking about all the ways that this can apply across many other different industries, not just a chiropractor's office. So this first part here with the foundation, and I actually have a little bit of a checklist here. Again, we can provide all this to you, making sure that you have everything set up. This is kind of like the techiest part of this. And the thing is, the way Facebook is evolving, it's going to get more and more technical. So this is our opportunity to be the person to help these small businesses. Again, you can offer it as a paid service. You can offer it for free if you want, as part of the bonus of you setting everything up. But it's going to become much more technical, that everyday small businesses are going to have a much harder time just to get up and running on Facebook. It's just how things are going to be. And it's probably going to be similar for Google Ads as well, FYI, in case you also offer that too. So now that we've got this in place, the next thing you want to do is get the Facebook pixel into the page. So here's how we're going to do it. I have here just an account I'm not using at all, so I just wanted to use this as an example for you. What I've done here is gone to Events Manager. Once you're in business.facebook.com, to find it, go to this little menu here. It's these 9 dots. You can always click on it. It'll have some shortcuts at the top, and you can always scroll down as well to get to anywhere you need to get to. And what we want to do is go to Events Manager. And under Add Events, you want to choose From a New Website. If you have no pixel set up, it will literally just be blank, and it'll just be a button that says Create a Pixel. So it'll be much easier for you. But this one's already set up, so I just want to show you how to add it to the page. Really easy. This is the most code you're going to have to know. So I just click From a New Website, and then I click Install Code Manually. And I'm just going to click here, Copy Code. Then you just have to head on over back to Customer Engine. And remember over here, I was showing you just putting in the little inputs in this page. Just go to Custom Script. I just pasted it in here like this. That's it. And then you could just save and exit. Okay? That's the first step. Now, if you're using Chrome, which I highly recommend you do, one thing you should all have is something called the Facebook Pixel Helper. I have it installed here. Just Google Facebook Pixel Helper. It's totally free. Install it in Chrome and use it every single time you go to a page, because this will tell you if the code is in here. By the way, when I'm auditing people's stuff, I use this all the time. I take a look. A lot of times businesses don't even have this installed. Again, another opportunity for you to let them know they need to have this installed. You can help them do this. So I can see it's firing. This is great. The second step we need to do now is to let Facebook know, hey, this is what it looks like after somebody submits their information here. There's two ways you can do this. I have here on the checklist here, check for the URL of the thank you page, or I said here form submission conversion. So the way that this page works is when you submit it, it just quickly refreshes. As you saw, it says, hey, you're going to get your code. It doesn't actually go to another URL. Don't have to worry. You don't have to know any code to set this up. I'm going to show you how to set up the conversion event for pressing the button, which means all we're going to do is this is how we're going to tell Facebook, this is what it looks like when somebody presses the button. So you can go out and find other people out there who are more likely to press the button. So just go back to Events Manager. I'm just going to go back to the main area here. And what you want to do here is when you go add an event, this is how I get to it. I click from the pixel, and then you want to click Open Event Setup Tool. Okay? They make it so easy for you. So just get the URL of your landing page. I know you have to have the pixel installed already, so we've already got it installed. I'm just going to paste it over here, and I'm going to click Open Website. As you can see, it's in a new browser window, but a new little window opens up here. This is really, really helpful. So I already have this set up, but I can set it up again. Under here, where it says events on this page, you just want to click track new button. Notice that it actually here, I'm even going to delete this one so I can show you. I'm going to click track new button. Notice how it automatically looks for anything that might be a button. This basically looks for anything that already has a link. Again, I don't have to know any coding here. This is fantastic. I'm just going to click this button here because once they click on this, they would have entered their information, right? So I'm going to click on here, and then I'm just going to select the event. I'm just going to call it a lead. Okay? And I'm not going to put a value on it because there's no value on it for me. I'm just going to say confirm. And it's already set up. And you can see here, look, it says the lead event is live and it's being tracked on your site. It's done. I can just click finish setup, and I'm just going to click finish here. Yes, I don't have to tell them how great it was. And that's it. It's done. If you want to test if it works, just go to this little tab here that says test events. And then what you want to do is, again, this goes beyond the scope of what we're going to talk about today with server events. We can talk about that another time. I just want you to go under test browser events. You're going to paste in this URL here that we just set up. Click open website. And then you can just put in your name here. I'm going to put in a cell phone number. And I'm just going to click send me the discount. Okay. Now I'm going to go back to this window here, and you can see the test is successful. It says a lead was processed and a page view was processed, which is exactly what we need. And so we're ready to go. By the way, if you have any questions, please let us know in the questions box, and Tabitha or Ben will interrupt me. I'm happy to take questions, especially if there was something I did, maybe you missed it, etc. Okay, but I'm intending for this video to have everything you need so that you can come back to this at any time as a resource in terms of setting everything up, okay? Are we all good so far? Let me know with a 1 in the question box if you are good. So that's the first thing here is let's just go through this foundation checklist. So we've got the URL, that's done. The pixel event is firing. You want to always check how fast your page loads. As fast as possible is going to make your ads do better. This goes for almost like any ad network. We tested it to make sure that it is firing. Okay, the other thing we want to check is, does it have a privacy link? Yes, it does. Over here, we've got a privacy policy. You always want to check that. That's like a really easy thing to check. This one isn't live. We're going to have to get it linked up to actual privacy policy. So that's one thing that you actually have to check as well. And let's go back here. We also want to check if all the wording and imagery is compliant with the Facebook policies. So for that, I just want to make sure that you have Facebook policies bookmarked. If you're going to do any type of advertising, honestly, I don't like to read a ton of what everybody else interprets the policy to be. Go straight in here and read it for yourself. It has, we'll give you the link for this, but they have examples. It's pretty easy to follow along. You know, and so you can see what it says, yes or no, because one thing that happens here is Facebook is very, very quick to disapprove and shut down your account. So you really want to keep it as safe as possible. And one of the things that most people don't do is they don't go over here and check to make sure that it is all compliant. And let me just checking the questions here. So again, this is going to make you stand out from the crowd, because I do this all the time. I take a look at everything, and the first thing I usually get to people is say, hey, you've got a problem with compliance on your website for the ads, and so we have to get that fixed as well. Here's a tool I'm going to show you that you can use for a landing page as well as for Facebook ad compliance. Now, again, always check over here, look through everything here to make sure you know exactly what is and is not allowed. And we don't have time to go over everything here, but you should read it, and don't think that you can get away with it just because you see somebody else running an ad. Usually what happens is maybe that ad got through, but eventually it will probably get disapproved and their ad account may get shut down. So it's always best to be compliant. I have I know the guy who set up Xod, who created this software called Xod, but what they did was they created this free tool that you can also use as well, which I find helpful. It's not 100%. Again, please make sure you always go back to the policies, but I've actually just found this really helpful. They have a place here that you can just put in the URL and it will scan it for you. It'll probably pick up the word your, I think. All it's doing here is it's just picking up like words, and then it's highlighting it for you and telling you whether or not it is compliant. You can still pass this and still have a non-compliant ad, but it's a great place to start, and it's a great place to remind you, okay, I have to change stuff on there. So make sure you at least look it over and think about whether it's compliant or not. The other thing too is look at imagery. What I see a lot too is people tend to want to put on here, screenshots of testimonials from Facebook, for example. I don't know if you knew this, but if you have, for example, the little like buttons and stuff, that's trademarked by Facebook. That could maybe get your ad disapproved because you're using somebody else's trademark image on the page. That's why Customer Engine is so great. It forces you almost to be compliant because you literally can't do anything else on here. This is just how the page looks. But you do
Liana,
want to check those things.
I have to jump in here and tell you the way this was built was so that Ben didn't mess anything up. There are so many things that were custom put into this software so that I literally couldn't mess anything up when we ran ads. And so I love that you said that, because the dev team that put this together, there was a constant build towards what's been going to screw up if we don't set this up right. And so the thing was, and I told everybody, I want this to be so easy that a small business owner that doesn't delve into tech at all could set up a landing page. And that's a big hard thing that I realized a lot of small business owners can't do that. And for me, I'm pretty techie, that, but
Yeah.
it's still one of those things where I don't want to spend a bunch of time building a landing page. I want to type out what I want to type out and be done. And so, as we're doing that, though, exactly what you said, you have to make sure that what you're putting in there is compliant. And
Yep.
so you're exactly right. I think that's the big thing that for me is when I'm trying to get something up for a client, I don't have to worry about a lot of things. I want something to tell me what's got to be there, get it there, and move on. So I love all that stuff, because like I said, it's super important right now with everything that Facebook's been through in the last year, that that we stay up to speed. So I'll let you
Yeah.
keep rocking.
Yeah, and I know, like, I'm actually creating a list for Ben and his developers for Customer Engine so that they can actually keep building into this thing to make it, yeah, exactly what somebody said in the comments here, Ben proof, right? So you can just like go for it.
I love it.
So yeah, so this is, so let me just quickly keep going through here. Great. And then do yourself a favor, test how it looks on a desktop. Literally pick up your phone, test how it looks on your phone. And also, again, this is something that I find most people don't do. Go through the funnel yourself. Use a real email address you have. Go through the funnel and make sure it works well for you. Because so many of us just assume everything works. Tech breaks. Like even if it's Ben proof, maybe it's something that you didn't expect to happen, but actually just do a quick run through to make sure that it looks really, really good. So this was, like I said, the most techie part of this in terms of getting everything set up. Okay. So once you have the foundation, then you're actually going to decide what type of, I'm just going to walk you through pretty quickly the types of ad and targeting that we're going to do for this, because there are so many options. And the point of this here is not to show you everything that you can do. The point of this is to actually just show you what you should be doing to get this one up and running really quick. So I'm just going to go over to the ads manager, and so this is what it looks like here. And I'm just going to click create over here. Again, this is an account I haven't actually used yet. And you can see there's a whole bunch of different options here. The one that I'm going to show you how to do right now is conversions. Yes, we can talk about it some other time, all that, like when it's appropriate to use every single one of these. I do not believe that any one of them is like better or worse than the other, even including boosted posts. There's a time for everything, but for this type of campaign, you just want to set up a conversion campaign, and then we're just going to click continue. Now, the thing up here with your campaigns, this is a little pro tip for you. The pros have a method for naming things. And this is the tip that I've always remembered that Justin Brooke gave me. He said, the way that you name your campaigns, the cashier at McDonald's should be able to come in, look at your ad account, and be able to have an idea of what that campaign is about. Okay, so you don't have to like make it some big legend, like have a map and everything of how you have to name everything. It doesn't have to have numbers and codes. You can literally just say Cairo lead gen campaign, like literally whatever you want. What I like to do is in brackets, I just like to indicate what type of campaign it is. You can come up with your own nomenclature, but the pros do this. And when I look in an account and I see it's very organized and your clients see it's organized, that makes you look more professional and it gives them more trust in you. So you just want to set that up. You can choose campaign budget optimization or not. It really doesn't matter right now. Facebook does tend to push campaign budget optimization. All this means is that everything is controlled at the campaign level as opposed to the ad set level. It really doesn't matter. Pick one or the other. You'll find ad accounts have sort of personalities. So some of them will work better with ad set budget level optimization versus campaign. You can test. If you are working on, again, this is just a little side tip, if you're working on really big campaigns, campaign budget optimization works really well for scaling up fast. Like if you're trying to spend like $100,000 a day, I'd be running campaign budget optimization campaigns. But we're not doing that for this particular example, which is why I said it doesn't really matter. And then put in your budget. I'll just leave it here at $20. It's fine. So let's go to the ad set here. So the ad set, I'll show you how I name things. So the ad set, I like to put the interest here. So if I was doing any interest, I would put that in there. And then I put a square bracket and I put male, female, if I'm doing both. For the age, here I'm just pulling out an age range there. I can put that in there. So I usually put that information inside of there. And then outside, I'll put the location. Okay. So for this kind, I'm actually not going to do any interests. When we're doing local, I just like to target the location, and that's it. Once you do that, let the ad draw people to it. It's so much easier to do this instead of trying to find people in the city. That's like finding a needle in a haystack. Let people get drawn to your stuff. So I'm going to type up here. Let's just put in, for example, I'm in Toronto, so I'll just put Toronto here. That's totally fine. You can do it by zip codes, whatever. I'm just going to scroll down here, choose your pixel. So I have that set up, and you can see here the lead already fired, so I'm good there. I have this warning here because we didn't set it up with a custom domain, so I'm just going to ignore that for now and just keep on scrolling past all this stuff. You do not have to worry about it. Now, once you're over here to the locations, I'm just going to click edit, and I'm going to exit out of here. Just either type in the city, type in the zip code, type in like whatever you want. You can even put an address and then just say like 10 miles around it, 25 miles around it, like literally whatever. Here I'm just going to put Toronto. I'm just going to have like as close in there as I want. And then for the ages, again, you can pick whatever you want as well. I'm just probably going to make it a bit like maybe 25 and up. Make sure you turn off detailed targeting expansion. They always seem to put that in default right now. Just make sure you turn that off. We only want people in the location that we want to focus on. Okay, and that's it. And then leave it at automatic placement. You don't have to touch anything else at all. And then we just go on to the ad, but that's it. There's a whole bunch of other things you can do in here. You don't have to worry about it. Just do this. You don't have to worry about interests. I would just target by zip code or location. I've tried this a lot. You know, I have one, for example, running for a photography client, and we just get way better results when I'm just doing it by zip code, and that's it, and not us trying to find people. Let the people find you. And then next is up with the ad. So we're going to go through how to do the ad next, but that's basically how we're actually going to set it up and with the targeting, right? Super easy, right? Let me know so far has it been easy for you? Are you getting value out of this? Put a 1 in the comments if you are, and I'll keep going. Okay, great. I'm seeing some ones. Okay, so let's go to the fun part.
So good. Let me just,
okay.
So good.
Good.
Okay, keep going.
So that's like the most techie part of it. Let's go to the fun part where we're doing the creative and the copy. Okay, so let's do the copy first. Now, I am not saying, okay, let me put on my webcam here because I want people to see my face when I say this. I am not saying you should not hire a copywriter. I am not saying that copywriters are not a value, but reality of small businesses are that we don't necessarily have thousands of dollars to be able to hire a pro direct response copywriter to be on our team all the time, or even just to work on one campaign. So I'm going to show you what I do for small businesses to get a very powerful copy. And you know what? Sometimes they do beat out the copy that other pro copywriters have written as well. So I'm going to show you here my secrets. Here we go. Okay. So for the copy, and also like I'm not a copywriter, okay? So I'm not a professional direct response copywriter, but this is what I do. I always start from the landing page. And again, the way that Ben has set everything up inside of Customer Engine, it's super easy to put this in here. This is not a complicated headline to put in here, right? So I'm going to take this and we're going to create copy. And what I have been doing recently is I have been using AI to create copy. Let me know in the comments, have you guys heard about doing any of this before? Have you tried this using AI software to write copy for your ads and your landing pages? So I'm seeing a couple no's, yeses. Okay, I'm going to show you the ones that I'm using. I'm actually testing out a couple of them to see which one wins. And if you are just starting out, you can even just sign up for these for 1 month and then, just cancel if you want to. So I have a couple here. The first one I'm going to show you is called Headlime. And it sounds like line, but it's lime, like lemon and lime. And I think I have a project already created here. So I already ran one. Let me just pull it up here. So they just give you some information to fill out. So I just filled this out. I just, I said, okay, this is from Magellan Chiropractic. And I put in the headline there, but actually it was asking me for more information. So I'll just tell you the key with these AIs to make this work really well for you. And I tell you, I think you'll be astounded at how well these work. I did have to get some more information. So again, I'm not a copywriter. So you know what I did? I just Googled why it's good to get a massage at a chiropractor's office. And I copied this from one of the Google results that came up, just so it gives it some more information to work with. Okay. So I'm actually going to do one. So what it happens is they give you credits. So let's just do one here. It says friendly. Okay, so let's just one here. So I went over here to Facebook primary, and I had a couple here that I already did, but I can do another one. Let's see, let's try one. Let's do one that's confident. Let's try this here. So it tells me it's going to cost me 3 credits, and then it like literally writes it. Now, again, it's not going to replace a copywriter, but you know what? When you have just to get stuff done and put stuff up, this has been really, really helpful for me. So I'm actually going to click all here, and you can see all the copy that I did this just this morning. I generated all this copy here. Now, you still have to go through it to make it compliant, but this definitely gives me some ideas, right? And some things that I can use to, and no pun intended, to massage the words for the ad. You know, even things like saying for limited, like literally your ad copy could literally just be that even. Um, you know, the problem with some of these here from a compliance perspective is it's saying you too often. But here's the thing is you're not working from a blank slate. It's now giving you some, you know, some wording that you can use. And it's really great just to create other different ideas and hooks. So be open to it. And like I said, I've used these quite a bit, and I have some winning ads using this. It also can generate the Facebook headline. So I did the same thing, and it gives you a couple of ones that you can try. And I've even gone up here and I've even generated some of this stuff here and just used them in an ad instead. And I've done the same thing inside of 2 other different AIs because I like to try a couple different ones. So another one is called copy.ai, and I've generated a bunch here as well. And I've also gone into conversion.ai. Okay. So these are the 3 that I have found have been pretty good. Um, I have a whole bunch of other AI tools that I'm testing out, but I kind of like these ones. And they give me a nice variation of them. And again, I'm just trying to get something up quick, but I want it to be quality, of course. So what you want to do is when you're trying to figure out your copy, you do want to make sure you have at least 2 versions of copy to test. I would try a very short one. For example, here, this is just literally from the landing page. And you know what? A lot of times I will have that as one of my ads because, you know, believe it or not, a lot of times literally just like copying the landing page onto your ad works. People don't read. They just click through and then they see it. It looks the same. They feel like they're in the right place. They sign up, and this is super simple, right? But we've got a whole bunch here. You know, this one even has like a little bit more about the clinic, which you can put there if you want. You know, there's so many options here. And I just went through and it took me like maybe 15 minutes to go through all these just to generate a couple of different ideas. Again, I did want to stress that you do have to go through these and rewrite some of them to be compliant. So rewrite it, use this other free tool I gave you. Right here, see it, he picked up a bunch of stuff, right? It doesn't like the discount, the words there, but use this free tool here, copy scanner as well, to scan it for text. And you know, and then use your own judgment about how much or how little you want to listen to it. But you really do want to try, for example, in a lot of these, I think in this one here, it said you a lot. You want to try and take that out as much as possible. You know, you don't want to have any claims in here. Like you don't want to say this is going to, you know, this is going to this is going to make you pain free for the rest of your life. You don't want to say any of that. Here it says can work a few miracles on you. I probably wouldn't say that, but again, you just have to kind of go through that. So this is my secret sauce, guys. I said I even use these on big campaigns to test, especially when I need something fast. I got to put something up and try and test something out. These have definitely given me some great ideas to run with. So be open to it. So, you know, get all that copy together. Again, make sure it's compliant. Again, this is, I keep stressing this, but this is really where you can set yourself apart, because a lot of people out there run ads, but if you are showing them that you can go above and beyond, and this is just like another service that you provide, you don't have to tell them all the tools you use, then again, it just puts you head and shoulders of everybody else. You also want to check for spelling and grammar because, by the way, It's not because I think it should be perfect. It's because spelling and grammar mistakes is actually one of the flags that Facebook sees if it's spammy or not. So they see a lot of spelling errors or grammatical errors. You do want to fix it because you don't want to get any of those types of flags. Same thing with emojis. We all love emojis, right? Don't put like a bunch of them in a row. And by the way, putting stars like for reviews, putting those all in a row counts. Don't do that. Like Facebook is they're on to that now. So I just wouldn't do, people used to do that a lot. I wouldn't do that anymore. And then finally, you want to have a couple of variations. Okay, so I talked about having, at least 2 variations of the copy. Make sure you have something that you want to test. And a good way to think about it is, have one that's kind of softer, like maybe it's like a more friendlier one, not as much as like in your face. And then you also want to maybe try a more direct one, like sign up now, or claim your special now. Right? So make sure you have those ready to go in your ad. So that's the first part, is the copy. And again, that's literally just my secrets for getting it up. Oh, and by the way, if you do have a copywriter write for you, I will also take the copywriter's copy and put it into those AIs and see also what comes out. For the creative part of it, for the imagery, this is what I do here. So I don't have an AI that's actually going to find imagery for you. But what I do is I have a couple of sources that I look at. So I actually do like Shutterstock. Facebook used to offer this for free, but they don't anymore. And I know you're saying, oh, Leanna, but I have to pay for it. Here's the thing. Everybody goes through the free stuff. Like Unsplash is a great one. I think that there's some great pictures there. But on the other hand, I also want to stand out. I mean, how many of you, let me know in the comments, how many of you have seen ads and you've seen like the same person from the same stock photo over and over and over again, like from Unsplash, that just keeps showing up? So especially if you're doing like a local area and if there's other people advertising, chances are they're pulling also from the same photos. So the trick with local is you do want to stand out. And you know what? If it costs me a little bit, like I have a subscription, so I can't remember however many, to me, it's a small investment to make you stand out. So I would just like search through, like massage is a bit tough because you get a lot of imagery that could be flagged for nudity. So, what I want to do is I want to just try and find some imagery. I say here, I have categories, like find imagery that has some people in it. Find one that's like an inanimate object. Find one that has somebody looking at you smiling. I want to try these 3 categories so we can just start narrowing down, which one works better? Oh, they really like the people. They like this, then it can, let me know which way to go. So, maybe you want to put up here, I think maybe you want to put Cairo. Maybe if we put Cairo here, we'll get better pictures instead of the spa stuff. But, again, you also don't want to use negative pictures like this at all. I might even just go for something you want to think about is you also, like, I might even go for something just like this, or like something that just looks very peaceful, because you're trying to evoke an emotion as well. So it doesn't even literally have to do that. I think I saw one where somebody was in a chair, but maybe something like this, or if the chiropractic office obviously has pictures, then use that. But just find something here. And my trick is I search for a word and then I just scroll through here pretty fast. And I want to see what stands out to me. Okay. And usually that photo will be the one that I'll use. Other things you can do is you can go on to like story blocks. Sometimes I'll just pick an image. I was just going here trying to find maybe people relaxing, people who are happy. You could do that. There were a couple of massage ones, but they weren't that great. Another thing you could test if you wanted to, again, I run a lot of great ads where it's literally just a stock photo, okay, is going to something like Canva, or I actually like Crello for local businesses. I just find their templates, I just like their templates for local businesses. And this is one that they had in here. I just changed the picture and I put this over here. And this is actually a 6-second animated thing. I don't think it's still loading here, but I think like these like wave or something like that. But you can just easily just create like a really short video to put up as well in the ad. You don't have to do this. You don't have to over design it, but you can. And again, it's super fast. Just use what they already have. I can just put in massage here. They've got a bunch of templates. This was the template that I used. So you can see it like, this thing is just waving. So it kind of captures your attention a little bit. They also have animated ones here. They've got this one here. It's kind of got something, you can just replace the stuff in the background. Super, super easy to do, but you don't have to use design. You can just use stock photos. Okay, so that's what I would do for the creatives. And I added here, just be aware that you want it to look good in 3 different, no matter how they Facebook serves it up. So just think about that. The other thing is, once you have the image you want, stand back from your computer and also see, like, how does it look? Like, is it too busy? Can you really tell what it is? Because remember, people are scrolling past these really fast. So you want to be able to have something that just stops people's attention. And again, I just added a couple of things here for compliance. If you have music in it, make sure it's royalty free, or you're able to produce evidence that you can use it for commercial use. If someone's talking in it, add captions to it. Facebook has like a free option to add captions. And again, compliance too. Facebook will go through the video. So if you have somebody talking in the video, make sure that they're not saying this is going to cure cancer and stuff like that. It has to be compliant, okay? So once we have that together, we're ready to go. I love using a combination of videos and images. So feel free to use that. The point is that you actually have something to test. So I will set it up like this. Like, I'll set up, let me quickly set up an ad here. Okay, so I'll do, I'll create an ad here, and I won't put in the, let me just grab the URL here really quick, because I won't like actually make it live, but let's just pick one of the, I'll just pick this content here. Whoops, 25% off. So I'll just put the same text here, so we can have something, but I'll show you. So I'll put the ad here like this, and let me just close this. And so I'll have the ad set here. I'll have this ad here. I'll probably create 2 more ads here. So actually, you can just duplicate it twice. So then I would ideally like to start off with 3 ads and then just name them whatever you want to make it really easy to follow. So at least you're running something to compare. Don't just run one ad. But here's the thing is, and I've gotten this on the last checklist here because I know we're starting to run out of time, but this is the ad setup checklist. So let me just quickly walk through it, and I'll get to the point I was just about to say. Is your naming convention clear and easy to understand? Again, you want to be able to take a quick look at things and know, oh, that's the ad for this, that's the ad for that. Do you have any duplicate audiences running? You don't want to have that at all. You don't want to have overlap on your audiences. Notice how I just showed you I'm only creating 1 campaign, 1 ad set. You don't want to have duplicate audiences because Facebook will sort of throttle it a little bit because it's trying to stop you from competing against yourself. Do you have the correct objective set up? So, we chose leads. Double check your location is correct. Oh my gosh, how many times have I gotten this wrong, especially when I'm advertising for different locations? Make sure you have all placements selected. Just keep it super easy for yourself. Make it auto placement. Let Facebook decide. Really make sure your budget is correct. Again, this is worth testing, checking 3, 4, 5 times. Okay, make sure that's correct. Check your audience age. Make sure you've got the pixel selected. Make sure there's no error showing. And here's the thing that I wanted to say here. I said, if this is the first time, this is the very, very first time that you are using this landing page and this copy for the ad, only create 1 ad first. So I know I just duplicated those 2 ads, but if this was the first time I was either using the landing page or trying out brand new copy, only create 1 ad. Can anybody guess? Let me know in the comments if you can guess why I would do that. So I am only going to create 1 ad with the landing page and with the copy, and then I'm going to wait. Now, the reason why I wait is I want to see if it gets rejected or not. If it gets rejected, I'd rather have just 1 ad get rejected than like 50 ads rejected all at once. So I always wait. Now, just because it gets approved doesn't mean it's going to stay approved, and doesn't mean that any future ones will not get rejected. That's just how Facebook works. but it's a great indicator. So I always wait, and then if this gets approved, then I'll just duplicate it and I will create my other variations. And this is something I discipline myself to do if I'm testing, if I'm changing up a headline, if I'm creating a new ad with new copy into it, and or if I'm creating an ad with like a new landing page. Okay. So that's what you want to make sure that you do. Facebook can actually come back and reject all of your ads even after they've approved it. It depends if the computer is like scanning and it picks stuff up. And they've also been known just to shut people down too without even disapproving it. But again, I won't go into it here in this call. There's a lot more we could do, but I'm just trying to help you create it so that you can stay super, super safe. And like I said here, start with 3 ads in an ad set. Okay. So that's really all you have to do. And then once you run it, again, I'm going to, for testing, you just want to let it keep running. I don't know what your budget is, of course, but you do want to make sure you're running it for I would run it for at least 72 hours. Try and run it for at least a week. You do want to get to a point where you're getting like 50 leads a week. But even if you're not, let it keep running. I personally like to keep ads running, for 500 to 1,000 impressions before I'll turn it off. It depends how fast you're running things and how what your budget is. So there's like a whole, again, I don't have time to go through it here, but I do have like this whole kind of matrix of how I decide how to optimize an ad. But in general, you do want to make sure you leave it running long enough. I will say that if you have an ad and it's already gone like a couple hundred impressions and there's been 0 clicks, I will turn that ad off because clearly something's wrong. Okay. So you kind of have to use your common sense there. But most of the time, what I see is people don't let the ads run long enough. And that's part of the thing with Facebook ads is it's about developing this mentality so that you have like a mental toughness. You can get through that first part, knowing that there is sunshine, there is gold on the other side of the rainbow there, but you kind of have to get to that part. Okay. So, do you have any questions? That was literally step by step from just all the way going from 0 to having it up and running. So let's take a look here. Tabitha, or are you going to run any questions for me?
I've got some things here and
Okay,
there.
great.
Number one, thank you. I think the number one sentiment that I'm seeing across the board in the chat is number one, where do we get more from Liana? Because you're awesome, and we knew that would happen. Like, let's just be honest. Where do we get more from you? So we're going to make sure we have that. We'll get that into the show notes. We'll do that. The other thing is, can we get a copy of the presentation from you, the slides, and we can get that if that's cool with you, Liana. We're going to get that into the notes too, and so we'll do that. One of the things that I want you guys to realize, even if like for some reason you came in late and you missed some of the early stuff, what Liana has such a powerful where her superpower to me is, of course, she's really good at traffic. Okay, that's great. Like that is something that is wonderful if you want to hire her to do those things. But the thing that I think is really your superpower is explaining this in a way that average people like me can understand. I used to be really good at Facebook ads, but then it turned into what Facebook ads is now. And it's really hard for me to follow it sometimes. And like I picked up like 20 different things in this that I'm like, okay, we can go do that right now. And literally by the end of today, we've got our ads account in much better shape. And I think the big thing that small business owners, agencies need to realize is when your ad account is in shape, just like if you're in shape, you go to the gym in the mornings, you do these things, when you actually get to run the race, you're more efficient. And that's the thing, you're going to get cheaper clicks, you're going to reach more people, and everything overall is going to be much, much better. And so a lot of big fan things here of folks talking about, what a good presentation it was. What we're going to do is I'm going to tease this a little bit, because if it's okay with you, we're going to bring you back very soon, and we're going to do some more cool stuff, if that's okay with you, Liana. And so what I'm going to, okay, perfect. So what I'm going to do is this, just to put this in front of you guys, I think this was a huge, and especially if you go back and watch this replay, this was a huge thing for a lot of you. This is how you use a lot of the tech that we've got out right now to do some amazing things. And this is where the rubber really meets the road. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to pop something up on the screen right now. And I'm actually, well, not on the screen, but I'm going to pop it into the chat. what I've done is I've got a place for you guys to go sign up. It's a link. There's nothing for sale at that link, by the way. But what we're going to do is we are going to, when you sign up, we're going to, and we're using, by the way, we're using Customer Engine to do this. It was simple. It took me 5 seconds while you were talking, Liana, to set this up. But what we're going to do is we're going to send out a text here in about 4 hours with the replay, with the slides, if we can get those hooked up, and with more information of how to get, if you wanted to jump in with Customer Engine, I'll make sure you guys have a trial link there. But more importantly, if you want to get in touch with Liana, where do you go to get more from her? And so we'll have all those resources on the link, so that, like I said, we'll just send it out to your phones later. It'll be a super simple link. You can copy it to your computer if you want. But this way, I can get something out to you guys instantly. And the number one thing we're seeing right now with a lot of stuff is sometimes you guys don't get our emails. You're going to get our text, though. And so sign up there. There'll be a quick little message that lets you know that you're on the list. And a couple hours from now, I will make sure that I get you guys a link with everything, including how to get more from Liana, how to get this replay, how to make sure that you get the slides, all the cool things that we had here. Like I said, if you guys sign up there, we'll make sure we get you guys taken care of and you're good to go. So here's what I propose, because your time is valuable and I'm not going to keep you here longer than an hour if we can help it. I propose that you and me talk behind the scenes. And if you guys agree with me on this, give me a number 1 in the box. Liana and I talk about behind the scenes. We talk about getting her back on very, very soon, and doing another episode of Restart Small Business, because I think this is exactly how I knew we'd come out of the gate with this. There is nobody that watched this that if they go back, especially and watch the replay, they can't go do this. I mean, this is big. So the link for you guys, we're putting it in the chat right now, but it's spskr.com, which is just short for Serial Progress Seeker, but spskr.com/RSB. I'll pop it in there one more time for you guys since you got it. If you want the replay, we're not just going to blast everybody out with this, but if you want the replay, sign up there and we'll make sure we get this. We got some folks that are asking for other cool things, and guys, we're going to put that on the list for the Restart Small Business, so you've got that. But one more time, do me a favor. Can we just talk about how awesome Liana is and how great this call was? I hope so. I hope you're super excited about what we got done here today, and what you just fit into an hour. I don't know how you did, but it was an excellent presentation, and I think that all of our plotting for the last couple of months, my friend, of getting this stuff out there to people, from what I'm seeing in the chat, it was very good. So
Awesome. I'm glad it was helpful.
Yeah. Good. Well, like I said, I won't keep you any longer. I'm going to pop my self back up on the screen here real quick so we can say goodbye to everybody. Number 1, this is a labor of love. What we didn't want to do, guys, is we didn't want to put something together where we were selling something. That's not what this is about right now. What we're trying to do is we're trying to show you the tools that we use. And I think that was across the board. That was the ball game. What are the tools that we use on a daily basis? What are the things that we use to build the landing pages? What are the things that we use to put our ads together? And what we're trying to do is, whether you're a small business owner yourself, or you're an agency that, or maybe you don't even have an agency yet, maybe you just want to go out there and help small businesses and make money to do that, whatever it is that you do, what's actually happening? What's actually being used without the condition of you being sold something at the end? And so we're gonna rock these every so often on Tuesdays, and I think that's our mission right now. And I know that, the reason that, I wanted Liana to be the first was we very much match up on mission, which is we know what we've got to do as marketers in the next few months to help get the economy fired back up and to get people back to work and getting businesses back to where they can do the things that they do best. And so we're going to keep doing these, and we'll try to keep them to an hour every time so that the replay is easily digestible. But if you don't go take action on this with what you guys just saw, there's not much that we can do. So like I said, sign up there, spskr.com/RSB1. And this is episode 1, which means we know specifically that we're going to send you replay number 1 for there. You'll probably get a text from me here in a few hours with all this stuff put together. But if you don't get it in just a few hours, understand you're going to get a text from me probably tomorrow. We'll make sure we get you a replay. So all that said, Liana, that was amazing. Thank you for your time. I really appreciate it. Like, yeah, like I said, I literally have 20 things that I was like, well, that's simple. Why aren't we doing that? Why didn't we fix that? And that will get us more efficient with what we're doing. And like I said, you take this with what we were already doing with some stuff, and yeah, I
Yeah,
appreciate it.
blow it up.
Any last words before we get out of here? Episode 1 is in the bag. Anything else you want
Awesome.
to say?
No, I just want to honestly, I think the best way for you guys to thank us and show how much that you enjoy this and want more is to put into practice what you've done and tag me and Ben and the team to let us know how it's going. That's the best way for you guys to show us your appreciation.
Cool. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Leona, so much. Thanks to my team who's hanging out in the background. Not only we have team hanging out in the background that are, making sure that Leona and I know what we're doing and that everything's running smooth, but we also have team that's on the call watching today because they just wanted to be here. So, like I said, I appreciate everybody that's here. If you came out today and you watched and you were a part of this first thing that we're doing, I appreciate you. And we're going to be doing more of this in the future. So thanks. All right. Be good. Take care of yourselves. Thanks again, Leona. We'll talk
Bye.
to you guys.